What is the stupidest thing you believed when you were a child? I thought that ATMs just dispensed money on request, rather than being linked to a personal account, and never understood why my mom took out small amounts like 10 or 20 quid. Now, I had a similar meltdown as a kid, but instead I thought checks were just free money. When my mom told me she didn't have money to get what I wanted, I asked her why she couldn't just write a check with the amount on it. I had the same belief about the bank. Dad worked, mom didn't, so she would take us into town, hit the bank's drive-through, take out money, and we would go shopping. I didn't understand banking until I pointed out that the guy in the next line drove off without his money, and mom said he probably made a deposit. On a similar note, I thought the banks had like boxes for each of its customer, and when you deposit withdraw money, they will put it or take it out of my parents' box. This was before ATM. My mother told me blood was blue until it hit the air and then it turned red. Can you see how this could cause problems for an inquisitive child? I believe that actors actually die when the character they play dies in the movie. I thought that it must somehow be worth the fame or that they were sick. My older brother explained that the actors were paid lots of money beforehand, and they went out and had a big party and spent all the money the night before they got killed in the movie. This is what big brothers are for. My mom and I would fight over peach juice left in canned peaches. She told me drinking peach juice will give me more freckles, and from then on, the juice was hers. Once I was playing with some toys and my mom was talking on the phone to her friend. I guess they were talking about kids growing up and having families someday, because my mom put her hand over the phone and asked me if I wanted kids someday and if I wanted boys or girls. I gave it some thought and said that I wanted one boy and one girl. For the longest time after this, I thought that it had been completely decided, like my mom was just on the phone with whoever you call to place an order for kids, and my order had been finalized. Smaller babies are delivered by stock. Bigger babies require a crane. If you flushed a toilet, it will cause a wave on the beach. Flash clouds were permanent and just traveled around the world. That if I killed a bug, its family would come after me and avenge them. I used to believe that if you broke a spider web, the spider would come after you. I apologize to them to make sure they don't attack me in my sleep. That lions at any moment could break out of the zoos and terrorize the street. I had a full-on panic attack about it when I was about 8. Teacher told us we only had 2 layers of skin, dermis and epidermis. I had a cut on my arm and a skinned elbow. I worried for weeks about what would happen to me if I wore out both of my layers before I got old. That my mom had really quick hands, and that's why I never saw her turn off the turn signal after the car turned our corner. What's the movie you will always give when someone asks for a suggestion? High Fidelity is one of my favorite movies, but rarely gets any love. Clue, 1985. Can't go wrong with The Princess Bride, to be honest. Wind River is a brilliant mystery thriller movie that a lot of people haven't heard of. Also, it's one of my top 5 favorite movies. Mary and Max. It's an indie claymation movie about two pen pals. Mary, an 8-year-old Australian girl with a dysfunctional home life, and Max, a middle-aged New Yorker with Asperger's syndrome, and unlikely friendship based on a true story. As an Australian with Asperger, I would have to say it's the most accurate movie I've seen in both regards. Although Max's character is very textbook, the movie has a very unique art style and an extremely dry, somewhat dark sense of humor, but it remains a very wholesome little movie. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Stand By Me. I think it's age appropriate for 10 years old up. It's a classic and one of my all-time favorites. My Cousin Vinny. Just a fun time all around. High Fidelity or Big Fish. Big Fish, it's a movie at the highest level of storytelling. Great recommendation. Trucker and Dale vs Evil, especially around this time of the year. The Prestige. I think this movie is extremely underrated. Sadly, I couldn't convince my family members or other friends to come on board Nolan train. This is a movie where I root for either characters at different points of the movie. City of God. Disclaimer, not about religion at all. It's about kids growing up in Rio, getting involved with crime and drug rings, based on a true story. Titanic. Pure beauty. The Prestige. Amazing movie.